I feel like one of the things that really in July we got to do, and I'd like to do even more locally, is team bonding, because we did the multiple travel tournaments. If you've listened to any other episodes, those travel tournaments provided us opportunities to go to different spaces like Las Vegas, San Diego, that not all of our kids get the opportunity to go to in terms of like with a team. And so that was a really powerful experience. And I feel like that's what really like transformed a lot of these, guys and girls friendships. And as I like really see and I watch and I work with youth daily, the thing I feel like they need most right now, sports are great. They teach a lot of great discipline and commitment. I see opportunities to socialize like without phones. And that's one thing that, kind of we'll focus on and improving on. You are listening to the Beyond the Scoreboard Podcast, transforming athletes into leaders on and off the court with host Coach Furtado. Coaches, are you ready to take your passion for coaching and turn it into a full-time career? I know the challenges firsthand, but the Make Money Coaching Sports program helped me take BTG basketball full-time. If you're tired of juggling coaching part-time and want to fully focus on doing what you love, this business accelerator will give you the tools and support to make it happen. Hit the link in the show notes below to learn more and start living your dream. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Scoreboard Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Furtado. In today's episode, I am going to give an in-depth analysis on my reflection and experience of year 2 in club basketball, our first year running spring and summer. A great episode where I'm sharing insight for if you're a club director or a club coach or someone that just wants to learn a little bit more about how I am reflecting on the experience and how we're going to improve the experience. Because at the end of the day, this podcast, the purpose of it is to transform youth sports, and we are transforming youth sports from the inside out with BTG basketball. So diving in, I'm going to actually talk about the positive first and then the opportunities for improvements. I feel like in general, the experience was incredible for the kids. And why was that experience incredible? Our commitment to community, I feel like, is what really stood out. We had a great event in May that I feel like really helped bring together parents and athletes and coaches. We did a dinner at a local restaurant, and it became like a banquet where we gave out awards, not necessarily MVP, but Glue Award, the Rock Award for the weight room, and a leadership award as well. And I feel like that really set the tone, right? We also had an orientation where we had some learnings on things that we want to, improve on. And I'll touch about that a little bit later in the improvement section. The other things that I feel like we just did a great job on was like, there's a community, there's an energy, there's a vibe when you come into BTG, and a joy. And we are proud that there was one athlete, right, in transparency that quit basketball. And even though that athlete did quit and he talked to me, he said that BTG was his favorite program. The high school program he's playing at makes basketball not fun. We brought the joy back for a lot of people in the game. And that's really one of the big things. One of our core values is actually, it's our number one, joy in the gym. Because so much of club basketball is so serious. It's so much about winning and results that we forget that we're talking about, and we're teaching character through youth sports. Other things we did great, comments that we got consistently were our communication. We really pride ourselves. We have like weekly newsletters. We have obviously like our organization team apps. We wanted to communicate early and often, and that probably helps that I have been in the content space, in the communication, the media space, and I feel like that's really driven a lot of the core of our communication style. And so now, our coaching staff's taking that on. There's a couple of things that communication wise we can also improve on, and I'm excited about the opportunity to continue to improve upon that. And then, I feel like one of the things that really in July we got to do, and I'd like to do even more locally, is team bonding, because we did the multiple travel tournaments. If you've listened to any other episodes, those travel tournaments provided us opportunities to go to different spaces like Las Vegas, San Diego, that not all of our kids get the opportunity to go to in terms of like with a team. And so that was a really powerful experience. And I feel like that's what really like transformed a lot of these, guys and girls friendships. And as I like really see and I watch and I work with youth daily, the thing I feel like they need most right now, sports are great. They teach a lot of great discipline and commitment. I see opportunities to socialize like without phones. And that's one thing that, kind of we'll focus on and improving on. Now, last, just having an experience where we include, weights and film and just having the full package experience is something that, I feel like I'm really proud of that we did a great job of. And finally, for positives that we'll definitely continue to carry on is coaches education. I feel like as a staff, we were very connected. I have some ideas on how I want to improve the coaches education process, but that's something that's really separated ourselves. And it helps set the tone for us at BTG, how we're going to make that impact. And that has been a real big benefit. Now, number two, what I'll say, areas of improvement, opportunities for improvement. As I'm looking into this fall and getting ready for the next club season, obviously there's middle school club season coming up, but we have transition week. So I'm really excited about that because I want to standardize programming more. I want to have more outcome-based opportunities, standards that are across the board. So like, our 12U, they're going to graduate and they'll learn this, right? And then when they're 15U, they'll know this, and then the standard is such, right? And so I won't share all of that in this episode. I want it to be a little more general, but improving our standards and just standardizing, right? Even our weight room, how we do film, that's all things that I'm excited about the opportunity of doing. And obviously being in year 2, you're not going to be a final and finished product. So I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to improve. And I'm looking for opportunity to improve on like our leadership development. Like we talk about it, and I think we can improve on how we, I feel like we talk about it. We need to challenge our athletes to be more in action. You know what I mean? Like to practice that leadership more so than just talking about it. We got to get them out of their comfort zones a little bit more, which I'll continue on with that. A couple of things like I really want to focus on in the future is like making sure everyone has practice jerseys in there. That's what we wear at every practice. Everyone has a notebook at practice, especially our film days, pen and pencil, not a phone. So I'm working on how can we hold them accountable for that, right? How not just, making them run, like being creative, right? With playtime, it's something that I want to experiment with. And one thing I may want to experiment with in the future is when we're at tournaments, no phones. I'm curious if you're, in the club world or whatever world you're in with youth. I just see such an issue with, I actually see it just as much, or nearly as much as in adults now. It's kind of baffling to me of how addicting that is and how, kind of challenge some of our social skills are without the phone. So that's something that I really want to focus on as well. And then finally, it's club basketball it's a business, and so people kind of roll in, and I feel like I want to do a better job of having hey, eight, this is our cap, this is our competitive team with 8 players, right? You can join our development program. We had a couple of times where we got over that number of 8, and that's our responsibility as directors to really make sure that
there's only a certain amount of kids per team to make the experience great for everyone. And so that's one thing that I wish I did a better job of, having like a funnel system of training into a competitive team. So those are the things that I feel like we did really well. Some of the things I'm really looking forward to improving on. And then some of the communication issues, like, it's a change from spring to summer. Some of the teams were changing. For the older high school teams, I had two teams that were like predominantly one high school, predominantly the other. Next year, I'm just going to mix and match. There will be no by the high school. So a lot of opportunities to improve. So I really, look forward. I hope that was insightful and helpful for any club directors or people that are interested in club basketball or interested in building teams. I really want to BTG and Beyond the Scoreboard. This is a really big fall for myself and my fiance. We are getting married in September. So content-wise, probably won't post as much, but really excited next year to get a little bit more into the media side of Beyond the Scoreboard and really helping our Beyond the Game messaging get out there, because I really want to transform youth sports. I can probably do a full another episode on things that I really need to change within youth sports, that I really think is healthy, unhealthy. But we're taking steps forward at BTG. Really proud of our coaching staff, and really appreciate you all listening. So if you got something from this, make sure to share it with a friend, share it on social media. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Coach Furtado out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Beyond the Scoreboard podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and share it with a friend, coach, or parent you feel like would get value from this episode. It's our responsibility to impact as many parents and coaches who are the ones that are impacting our athletes. That's how we create a ripple effect. So thank you for being a part of our community, and we look forward to serving you all next week.